In today's video, I will be spending 100 days in Hogwarts Legacy. During the 100 days, I'll be exploring the vast open world, completing the many dungeons and trials, as well as fighting a bunch of unique bosses, learning brand new spells, and taming wild beasts that live around Hogwarts. I will also try to get to the max level and not only complete all of the main story quests, but also all of the side quests. And with that being said, let's spend 100 days in Hogwarts Legacy, and thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. I started day number 1 by creating my character, and I did not go that in-depth with this. I was like, all right, what it pretty much gives you is fine. And he had to choose a first and last name, and I couldn't really think of anything. So first thing that came to mind was Durburger from Fortnite. So that was, you know, whatever. But basically the first day just kind of serves as a tutorial pretty much. You just kind of walk around a little bit. You'll learn how to do the spells and you use some very simple puzzles as well as fighting these knight guys. It's basically just a tutorial, so there's not much to say on the first day. And you also get introduced to the main bad guy. And that's about it. And just like that, you get the title screen and you have this talking hat. So I don't know what this is, but basically this is how you choose your faction. And I chose Slytherin because it says hunger for power. I need that. All right, I'm on my Sigma arc.
Is this serious?
So I started day 2 by having to walk around more. It's basically just a set trail you have to follow. Whatever, you have to follow these guys, talk to this. It's very linear at first, but then after a couple days you're able to just do what you want. So yeah, I had to go to class. Very fun stuff, whatever. And I also learned this game thing. This is actually pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. You have to pull the ball towards and you try to get more points to the other person. So I actually don't mind that. And I also went to another class where I learned Levioso. Basically, it just levitates the enemies. And it's pretty good for stunning them. And it's also used in some puzzles. And I also discovered the gear mechanic. Now, the great thing about this game is that it doesn't matter what the gear looks like. You could always change it. So I know the thing where it's like, oh, the bad gear actually like looks good and the good gear looks terrible. It doesn't matter in this game. You can choose any appearance and keep the same stats, which is great. On day 3, I learned Reparo, and this basically just repairs stuff. Pretty, pretty straightforward. And I also went around Hogwarts just to see what, there was such a big open world for me to explore. So I just did a side quest, and this one was going to find floating books. So, okay, I went to the library and I got the floating books. So that was that. And I also did take a look at the map because I was curious on how big this map even was. I didn't know anything about this game pretty much until I played it. And yeah, this map is absolutely massive. So there will be plenty to explore in the 100 days. And also, it can be quite a grind sometimes. But after that, I went into Hogsmeade, which is pretty much like the town type area of the game. It's where you're able to buy a lot of stuff. And I talked to this guy where I got my custom wand. And after that, I floated the sheep. I don't know. There is no point of me doing this, but you know, I had to test it out somehow. So that was pretty fun. And on day 4, I was just talking to a bunch of people in town. Basically, there's plenty of side quests here. And there's also really good upgrades. For example, the broom upgrade, which you can get here. It's a little bit later in the game. But still, Hogsmeade is a very important place in the game. On day 5, I went back to Hogwarts. And I was kind of just aimlessly walking around. I didn't really have an objective for these first however many days. It was just trying to figure out what I was supposed to do. So yeah, I found some like secret stuff or whatever, and like a little secret room where a chest was, and there are plenty of those all around. And I also went to this like fighting club. I don't even know what this is supposed to be, but basically it's like a practice arena where you fight other students and just like practice the spells. It's a part of a side quest, but it's also pretty decent for just figuring out, you know, the spells. And by nighttime I had to sneak past some guys, so I was able to learn the spell where you go invisible. Now this is not complete invisibility. If you're too close to the target, then they'll know, but I don't know how, but you know, somehow. But yeah, I had to like dodge this ghost. And one thing that's nice about this spell is that you're able to unlock these chests that have eyes on them. So, you know, I don't know, it's different. But yeah, you're able to open these chests and they give you 500 gold, which is not too bad. And making my way even more underground, I found this dungeon temple type area. There are plenty of these in the game, and I'm not a huge fan of them because they all look like the same. They're not super unique, but they have like puzzles or enemies, something like that. And on day 8, I went to go explore, which is not actually a good idea. I went out pretty far, and the enemies are just way stronger, so I died pretty much instantly. But my main focus of doing this is trying to find like good gear, so I was thinking I could maybe like speed past the beginning of the game or just have an advantage on any of the enemies with like better gear I could get. So that's why I came out here. And while I was traveling, I found this little crack, and it was not a good idea to come here.
I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna take it.
And after dying a bunch of times, I decided just to find this little crevice, and I basically just shot him with the wand a bunch of times. Yeah, this took like 4 minutes, but I was eventually able to get him down. I know it's cheating. It's cheating, but yeah, I did get him down, and I got nothing out of it. So that was pretty much a waste of time. So since I did want to find some decent gear, I just kept taking a look around. But I did want to find some decent gear, so I did want to go look around the forest some more. But before I did that, I want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, War Thunder. War Thunder is a free combat vehicle game which is available on PC and consoles, providing the most comprehensive and realistic vehicle combat on the market. In War Thunder, you can take command of over 2,500 vehicles, including tanks, helicopters, planes, ships, armored cars, and more, dating back to the 1920s all the way to modern combat. War Thunder has an authentic experience with realistic vehicle designs, overall graphics, and sound effects that really immerse you in the experience. Join the over 70 million worldwide players today in epic PvP battles and dive into the breathtaking experience which is War Thunder. To prove War Thunder's comprehensive combat, the game includes an x-ray on enemy vehicles to show if you got a critical hit or just a minor scratch. Unlike a lot of games that have simple hit markers, War Thunder has realistic vehicle damage depending on where you hit the vehicle and with what artillery. War Thunder also provides 3 distinct modes for players. An arcade mode for faster paced action, with better vehicle performance and simplified physics, while the simulator game mode gets rid of all the guardrails for the ultimate challenge, and a realistic mode for a middle ground of intensity and realism, so no matter your playstyle, you'll find it here. Play today using my link at the top of the description or pinned comment, and receive a massive bonus pack for new and returning players that haven't played for at least 6 months across all platforms. This pack includes the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account, and keep in mind this is only for a limited time, so get in while you can. And with that being said, let's get back to the video. And I kept exploring. Well, I found this castle, and yeah, it wasn't, I wasn't going for anything. I was just kind of seeing what I could find. And I also found this moonstone. I had no clue what this was, but that would be for a lot later. And also for the first time, I sold off some of my gear. You definitely do not need all of this stuff, so I made sure I sold all that off. And there is also a gear like inventory like certain amount you can have. So either way, I had to get rid of it. And on day 9, it was just more messing around. I don't know. I fought some, I don't know, frog things, and they actually did not go that well. And I'm on my way back to Hogwarts where I had to do a class or whatever. And this one's for planting. Planting is kind of like whatever in this game. It's mainly used for potions, but I won't really use the combat plants. But potions are very important, especially the health potion, in my opinion, the only potion that you really need. So I created that. And on day 10, I just started doing a bunch of random side quests. And for this one, I had to go to a goblin fort. And basically, I just had to take this guy's wagons back to him. And I also started this side quest. I didn't really think it was anything. These 2 guys showed up, so I just easily took them out. I mean, it's literally just 2 guys, but these are the Merlin trials, or Merlin trials, whatever. And they're basically scattered all the way around the map. They have this little like stone symbol on the ground, and you have to do this very easy puzzle, but they allow you to have more gear slots. Now, it's just kind of nice. It's not super necessary, but I would end up doing that. I want to end up doing a lot of these trials just so I can carry more gear on me. And yeah, I just kept walking around. I mean, I have no means of transportation except for just running. So these do take a little while to get there because I don't have the broom yet or any sort of mount. So I just started attacking random goblins here and there, which actually I was not doing too bad at. I was able to take out quite a few of them. And I made my way back to Hogwarts where I was learning some new spells. And this one disarms enemies. And this is, I never end up using this, but at least I have it. And I went down by the shore where this was a main quest. And yeah, I gave up on that because I died instantly to these frog things again. I'll come back here. But for right now, I was not trying to deal with this at all. And I also went back to the fight club. This is not what it's called. I don't know what it's called. It's called something, though. And I just fought a bunch of students, so that was pretty fun. And I also just did another side quest where all I had to do was go into this little secret compartment and do some pretty simple puzzles and get what this guy needs. But here's the deal. Whenever you do these quests, you got to make sure you get a reward out of it, because what's the point? So basically, I just guilt this guy into giving me money, so it's pretty good.
Tell him to bring me my money.
And after getting that bag, all right. I found this floating key, so that was definitely different. And basically, there's a bunch of these around Hogwarts, and they unlock these cabinets. Did not know what this even did, but it gives you a chest key, and that's a little bit for later. And yeah, I was just kind of looking around, and I found this mirror thing, and then I heard this weird noise behind me. I had no clue what this was, and then these guys were, I don't even know what this is.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy.
And after that, I just continued to get more of these cabinets. This will take quite a while to do. And on day 13, I did the side quest where I figured out how to do the mirror thing. Basically, you just shine your light in the mirror things, find this butterfly, and then it'll give you a field guide note. So that's about it. And for the rest of the day, it was pretty much just me getting these floating key cabinet things, whatever. And yeah, I was just kind of messing around, trying to see what I could find. On day 14, I went out in the wilderness where I fought some spiders. I would need to fight quite a lot of these to complete like the main challenge. I also went down to do this main quest. This is the spot where I got killed by the frogs, but I was fortunately able to get past it, and I found this ghost guy, so that was You know, I don't really know, but all right. And I had to travel quite a ways for this next part. I had to go all the way to the Forbidden Forest, and it opened one of these trial type areas again. But this one had quite a lot more loot in it, so I just went throughout everything and tried to collect as much stuff as I could. And I had quite a few enemies to fight, but after clearing through all of it, it led me to the map chamber, which is just like a secret room part of Hogwarts. I'd be back here for a bunch more main quests, but that was really the whole point of doing this. And on day 16, I got the broom training, which I was pretty hyped for, I'm not gonna lie. All I had to do is just go through some rings or whatever, and the only problem with the broom is that it makes the open world feel a lot smaller, which I guess makes sense, but it's the best way of traveling around. So after doing the training, I went into Hogsmeade. I think that's how you say it. And I bought myself a broom. I bought the most expensive one. You guys know I'm balling out like that. So I got the one with like the lightning off the back, or it's not really lightning, it's just purple mist, whatever. But it looks pretty cool. So that's, you know, not bad. And I also got the room of requirement. Pretty underrated part of the game, but I actually am a big fan of this. It's like your own separate room that you can do whatever. You can craft potions, plant plants, and also breed beasts and stuff like that. So it's a pretty cool area of the game. And I also went back to doing just some more main quests. A lot of the first part of the game is just, yeah, kind of just grinding out a little bit. Trying to unlock all the skills that you can. I guess not all of them, but a good amount where you're able to explore without a much issue. So I continued doing some more side quests. And I was also trying to figure out this Merlin trial on day 18. It wasn't super straightforward, so I'd look it up for a further Merlin trial that I had to do. But yeah, I was just kind of traveling around. Since I had the broom, I mean, transportation was super easy. I went into the Forbidden Forest where I fought some enemies. Oh, and I also went to go get my revenge on the troll because, you know, might as well.
Hey! Come on, man! That's too easy!
And I was doing pretty much more of the same, taking out some guys, and that's about it. Nothing interesting. And on day 19, I followed some butterflies. It was for a quest, and I got a little treasure out of it. So that was a very easy side quest done. And I just sold off all my gear because I needed to. And it's also a decent way to get money, so I can't complain. And I was also popping some balloons. There's a lot of these around the map, so this would not be the only instance of it. But after doing that, I did unlock like the freeze spell, which is pretty explanatory. It's self-explanatory. You just freeze enemies. But it is pretty useful, especially for doing like puzzles and stuff. And on day 20, I scanned some unidentified gear. It's kind of weird in this game. There's gear you can get, but it can be unidentified, which doesn't really make any sense. But anyways, and on day 21, I went through this tunnel. And the reason I went here is because you get a fast travel point. But more importantly, it unlocks the other half of the map. So you're not able to fly through it. You actually have to go underneath the tunnel, and then you're able to access that part. And I also did this battle arena. There's a few of these around the map, and that took up most of the day, pretty much. And on day 22, I did another story mission, so not much to say. And then I end up in this map chamber type area. I know I said this already a bunch of times, but I just don't like this. It all looks the exact same. And yeah, you gotta fight like the temple guards or whatever. And then there's a lot of yap in between these, so I don't really care about that, whatever. I'm just trying to go back to the open world. So on day 23, I met up with this guy, and this is to unlock a spell where you're able to unlock doors. There's a lot of locked doors around that'll give you decent loot or just rooms you can't access without it. And for this quest, you have to sneak up to the upstairs room. And while I was trying to go up there, I got caught by the hall monitor. Like, what is this guy doing?
Okay.
Get to class.
Okay, sorry.
But anyways, I was able to get past him and pick up this statue, Demiguy's Moon, or whatever it's called. And also while I was there, I did get another one of these cabinets. But yeah, I returned this statue moon thing to this guy. And basically, I had to collect a bunch of these, 30 in total, and they're all across the map. And you have to do them only at night, the only time you can collect them. And if I get all 30, I get the max level of where you can unlock doors. Some doors have different levels, like level 1, 2, whatever. But after that, I got the last cabinet. I've been kind of just doing this in the background, but I was able to unlock the chest with all the tokens. And I wasn't sure what you get out of it because I didn't look it up. Like, I just wanted to be surprised. And it was, I don't know if it was worth it. You get a cosmetic that's kind of just all right. Nothing crazy, but it's not too bad. And on day 24, I did another assignment where I was able to get myself another spell. And for all of day 25, it was just me trying to get these statues. And this also went into day 26. I just looked it up on YouTube, because I'm not gonna just look for them everywhere. And returning after getting all 30 statues, I got to level 3, which is the max level, and I was now able to unlock any door. And for the rest of the day, I was just fighting some goblins and stuff like that. And on day 28, I went into Hogsmeade, where I bought myself some equipment, and I also changed the room requirement here. And from the rest of the day 28 to 29, I was just kind of buying stuff and changing up the room to something I think is pretty decent. I basically have a bunch of plants in here, and soon I'll be brewing a bunch of potions. And on day 30, I went to do some main quests. I had to go to this goblin guy and do some very easy puzzles. And I had to fight the Inferno, which you have to light on fire so you can even do damage to him. So kind of a unique enemy, which is actually decent. It's a nice change from a lot of the other enemies. And yeah, I returned to him on day 31. And once again, I was just kind of doing whatever, getting some decent level ups. Because even though I'm on level 24 and I'm not even halfway through it, it's only going to get harder to level up. So I have to focus on it now. And I also went to this class about the beast thing, and I found this little guy. So yeah, most of the day was doing this, but actually the beasts are pretty cool. Eventually you can make some profit off of them, and they also will upgrade your gear, which is great. And on day 32, you know what? Not much going on, to be honest. I did a side quest. For this one, I had to go take out a troll and break into this castle where there were a bunch of goblins I had to take out, and free the funny guy with the top hat, so, you know, the strange man from Red Dead or whatever. On day 33, I took out some trolls. You have to take out quite a few of these for the challenge, and there's only like 1 or 2 of them, so I thought I might as well get to work on doing that now. And I also unlocked this bag thing, which is how I kidnap the beast. So the little hairy guys rolling around, I just collected them, and also some birds. And yeah, basically it's a new area, the rumor requirement, where you just kind of let them freely roam around. And with their hide that you collect after feeding them, you can get upgrades for your gear, which is really good. And yeah, day 34, I just continue to collect some more beasts. And I went very far south, like where the most difficult enemies are. And yeah, it didn't go too hot. But after a couple tries, I was able to clear out the camp. And I also returned back to my room where I collected some of the plants. And yeah, day 35 was pretty not much going on. I was sat there the entire day. So that's that. On day 36, I did some more Merlin trials and also continued popping balloons. Now, I know this is not very interesting, but a lot of these challenges are the grind, and to even get to level 40, you have to do them. And I was also trying to figure out this puzzle for so long. It took me like 10 minutes. It's really not that complicated, but I eventually got it done. And hey, I'm back to the balloons again. Oh, that's pretty interesting. And I also want to become a cartographer. So basically, just kind of went around the map and you know, fill in the blank spots. And I also found this griffin looking thing. I don't know what it's called, the hippogriff or something like that, I'm pretty sure. But it ran away, so I couldn't unfortunately collect it. And I also got all the fast travel points. It is nice because it's one of the achievements on Steam or whatever, but it's just more convenient if anything. And on day 38, I accepted another side quest, and this one was to complete another battle arena. These are usually pretty fun, and it took about 12 minutes to do, but I eventually got it done. And from the rest of the day, to day 40, it was just some more challenges. Mainly the Merlin trials. So you know what? It's not very fun, so I'll just skip over it. And here on day 41, I purchased some of the spellcrafts, and this was to craft some of the potions. Potions are extremely useful, mainly just the health potion. I already said this before. And most of the day was just kind of sit inside here. And I literally made every potion I could maxed out, as many as I could carry, as well as checking up on my plants. On day 42, I got back to challenges. Wow, this is really good. But I also just wanted to get some more gear and stuff. Now, I know a lot of this just sounds like a massive grind, but it's really not too bad. But yeah, surprisingly, I'm going at a pretty fast rate. And not to spoil anything, but I cut it very close to even get to level 40. But here on day 43, I finally got the last Merlin trial done. Finally. It took so long to do this. It's not that long in the video, of course, but me actually playing it, yeah, was not fun. And there's also a Steam challenge to get all of them done. So you think I'm doing that? No. And I also got back to some main quests, and this quest was a lot of talking and then fighting some goblins down the way and also standing around. So, you know, okay. And on day 44, I had to get into this castle, and it was pretty straightforward for the most part until I got to this spot where I was, no joke, was here for about 8 minutes trying to figure this out until I finally looked it up. It was not like super straightforward on what I was supposed to do. I had to freeze it and then it would work. I don't know. But the main reason for this is to get the hippogriffs. And after doing this, you actually unlock it as a mount. So that's pretty decent. I would never end up really using the mounts at all, but at least they're there. And on day 45, I got another challenge I gotta go do now. And after attending the class, this whole thing is basically you just look at the stars and then you line up the little constellations. And there are quite a few of these around the map, so the next couple days would be kind of dedicated to that. And after only about 30 minutes, I got the challenge done. And this one was really not fun at all. But I went into Hogsmeade and I was trying to collect a bunch of the field guides. At first, it's easy because they're kind of all over the place. But then once there's only a limited amount, that's when it gets hard to find them. So you kind of just use Revelio all the time, everywhere you go. But I was making progress on that challenge. I sold off some of my gear and just did some more looting here and there. And also got myself to level 30, and I finally got all the field guides. It's not absolutely everyone in Hogsmeade, but it's just enough to finish the challenge. And now it was the landing platform, so I know this is not fun at all. But if I wanted to get the challenges done and get to level 40, some of these had to be just kind of boring. And I also got another field guide challenge done. And on day 50, I was standing around. But I also got another room requirement unlock, or just opening of the room. And I also just went in to do some random missions here and there. And I went to do this game again, which is pretty easy for the most part. And I also started up these time trials. And this is how you're able to get upgrades for your broomstick. After completing the trial, I was able to go into Hogsmeade and get myself the upgrade. And right after that, I did another one of these races. And on day 53, the recording got corrupted. So, you know, kind of without context, I'm in the trial again. Whatever you want to call this, I don't know what the term is for it, but it's the part that I'm not a big fan of. But I went to this spot where I had to fight some invisible enemies and also some enemies that you can see. And I did get off with a little boss fight. Not very difficult. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you're on normal difficulty. You know, you're not going pro. Well, no, I'm not. But I did get the boss fight done. And just some more yaps, so nothing really going on in the map chamber, but it's pretty common. And on day 55, I had to go rescue a dragon. And for this, you have to sneak into the tent and then take out a bunch of poachers. And after taking them all out, it ends up freeing the dragon, which eventually I'll be back to this quest where I gotta like deliver a dragon egg or something like that. I don't know. And I also went back to doing Sebastian's quests. And for this one, it was a very quick puzzle inside of Hogwarts, as well as another puzzle where you got to line up the symbols with a snake thing or whatever. And with this, you learn the spell Crucio. This is mainly a stun spell, but it works far better in a combination with another spell that I'll get later. It'll almost work as like a chain effect. But I did go out and just kind of test this out, see what it did. And it also recharges pretty quick, so you can give enemies a quick stun. And I also got some more beasts. And the reason I did this is because it was for an assignment. But also, the beast quest is also a thing, so doing this is kind of killing two birds with one stone. And I also had to collect some field guides. This is literally for a side quest. And I also unlocked the transformation spell. This is pretty much the last spell I need, not including the forbidden spells. And I also went to Deke. I haven't really mentioned him, but it's this dude. And for this quest, I had to go get the I don't even know how you say this. Thesтерul. Yeah, Thestral. And capture them in the bag, and they were actually quite difficult to get. I was chasing them around a bunch, but I was able to collect them. And I also went to Hogsmeade, where I bought like the breeding area, whatever. And this is where I can finally breed beasts. The only reason I actually want this is so I can go sell them later. Obviously, it can provide, you know, more materials, because the more beasts you have, the more materials you can get, whatever. But for the most part, you really only need a couple if you're trying to upgrade your gear. So this would be really nice. This would be a lot later, though, when I even end up selling them. So basically, I just did some more of the same. Popping some balloons, you know, and just doing some other quests. And I ended up doing another one with Sebastian. But basically, if you do this quest and go through all the, like, the temple areas, whatever, take out all the enemies, you're able to unlock the forbidden curses or spells, whatever. And this one that unlocks is where you're able to just transform an enemy into a friendly temporarily. It's actually very useful, especially if you use it on trolls, like big enemies that do a lot of damage. That's what it's really good for. And yeah, it was just mainly fighting a lot of enemies, a lot of spiders, finishing off the quest with a cutscene. And just like that, I needed one more spell. And I also talked to the little goblin guy. And for this one, I had to go into a goblin factory. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of the assets for some of the other things are reused. Not necessarily for this mission, but more so for like the missions where you're in a cave, which obviously makes sense. They can't really make a unique cave for every single one. But it just kind of looks very similar a lot of the times. I mean, I'm just kind of yapping right now, but anyway, got the mission done and returned back to Hogsmeade, where I went to go get my upgrade for my broomstick, which means there's only one more to go. So I went to go do this timed race, and I also took out another infamous foe. I'm gonna have to take out more of these just to get the challenge done. But returning back to Hogsmeade, I got the final upgrade for my broom, and I'm not sure if it makes it overall faster, but it means that if you're higher up in the air, then you have more boost. And here on day 63, it was this just standing there. So you know, that was that. And on day 64, I was disguised as like a teacher or whatever, and something like that, or a professor. And yeah, just kind of walking around. This was to unlock like a secret room, and I'd actually be back here later for another challenge, not even including the quest. But I was also collecting some more field guides. I was going to need to come back here and do this, so I might as well do this now. So might as well get some now. And after playing as the professor or whatever, going into his room, and I got went into the book. And I really do not want to spend a whole lot of time on this because it doesn't look very good. But you're in like a drawing or book or whatever. And they basically just throw a couple waves of enemies at you, and you just fight them all off. And yeah, I also met up with Sebastian again. I was really getting close to getting the main quest done, the whole main story done. So yeah, I went to these catacombs again, fought some enemies. You know the drill. Same deal. And looked into the soup. And, you know, I went into this goblin factory. I was actually in here for a while. I couldn't figure out where I was supposed to go. But took out some goblins and got into a cutscene where I met up with the main boss guy or whatever, the main antagonist of the game. Now he doesn't really show up that often, but basically like the two main antagonists, they like crash out or whatever, and then we got to get out of there. So that was that. And on day 68, yeah, it was more of the same. So not much to comment on here. And I also was trying to get some dueling feats down because I needed to do that. And I also collected a phoenix, and this was from Deke's mission or whatever. I wouldn't end up finding another one of these. I don't even know if you can find another one of these, but I only got one. And yeah, back to Sebastian's missions. Went back to the catacombs. I'm tired of coming down here. They all look the same, but this one ended with a boss fight. It was easy enough to do, but ends up with a sadness. You know, very sad. Not really. The main reason why I did this is so I can get the instant kill like spell. And this is really good. If you combine it with Crucio, it can turn into a chain kill pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it's completely overpowered. You can take out like 2 trolls at once, literally instantly. So it's the best spell in the game, but it does take a long time to recharge. And on day 70, I had to go find this beast. And it's actually a mount you can ride, but for the first part of it, you actually have to take him out. And once you get him down to pretty much no health left, you can either keep attacking him or you can kneel. And if you kneel, you can then ride him as a mount. I don't know what happens if you keep attacking him. I'm assuming the same outcome because it's a main story mission, but I just chose that option, and that opened up one of the doors. And yeah, basically just a bunch of story mission stuff, whatever. But I went to Hogsmeade where I got myself a new wand, and I got teleported to a little arena, and this is like the secondary antagonist of the game, and I hit him with the one-shot kill, and that didn't kill him. Obviously it's scripted, so it didn't. And I went into this 1v1 type deal. All you gotta do is press spacebar as many times as you can, and just like that kills him. And I was now only one quest away from finishing the game. I also spoke with Sebastian to wrap up his storyline. And just like that, I started the final story quest. For this one, I had to take out bosses. And once again, using that curse, we're able to make one of the enemies friendly. It made it super easy. And for the final thing, I didn't know which one to choose, but I don't think it really matters. And yeah, I ended up fighting the boss guy. This is the little goblin guy, but he's a dragon for some reason. And I fought him. He has several stages. You still have to constantly keep moving around the area, depending where he goes. And getting him to the final area, you destroy these like bubbles or whatever. And just like that, I got him done. He was a pretty easy boss fight. It probably took maybe 5 minutes or so. And just like that, I got the final cutscene of the game. But I definitely was not done yet. I was only level 33. And I still had plenty of challenges to go. So right after that, I collected myself a unicorn. And the best way to do it is actually to freeze the unicorn. And also use that in combination with the invisibility spell. So you can sneak up on them and instantly capture them without them running away too far. I also went back to this dragon quest. I said I'd be back here and we like delivered the egg or something like that. Just to finish that side quest up because there's plenty to do. There's plenty of side quests to do. And I also did some dueling feats as well as just other challenges. So dueling feats is one challenge, but also taking out different enemy types is also, you know, another one. And I also got an expansion of my rumor requirement. And for this, I kind of wanted to make it look at least decent. And I lined up a bunch of the potion tables. And I think it looks pretty good. And there's plenty of tables to brew things, so I can have many prepared at one time. And I was also trying to complete some dueling feats. And also there's another open world thing I got to do, which is ancient magic. I should have done this a while ago because it fills up your ancient magic feeder, yeah, okay. Meter. And the best way I can describe it is like a finishing move from like Mortal Kombat or something. It does a lot of damage, and it'll just allow you to do more of them during a fight. So this will take a little while to get all of them. And I also just did some more infamous foes. Took out as many of those as I could. But yeah, a lot of these days are pretty much just combination of dueling feats, infamous foes, side quests, getting beasts, things like that. It's a lot of grinding, to be honest. So the last 10 or 15 hours of the game, at least for me, to even getting to level 40 is going to be a lot of the same, just a lot of grinding. And here on day 81, you also do some ones where you just talk to them. And this is important because it can take several days for them to like respond back and actually get the side quest. So I don't want to be on day 99 and then do the little thing and have to wait a couple days for me to do the actual final side quest. So that's why I'm doing plenty of those now. And I was making very good progress on the challenges. And another one is I was going to have to go to Hogwarts and collect all of the field guides. So from the rest of day 81 to day 83, it was literally just collecting field guides. I was not looking them up or anything on how to get them. I just kept going around using Revelio, and that worked pretty well. And on day 84, I was doing the Hogwarts secrets. There's only 3 of these, so it's very easy to do. I had to look them up because I ain't smart enough for this. But you do get a little cosmetic out of it, as well as some gear. But I mainly just did it just because of the challenge. And I also had to finish off all the landing platforms. But I was getting very close to level 40, and also the days were getting close too. So I was going to finish this up quick. And I also captured another grape horn. All I got to do is fight it and then eventually capture that out. And yeah, for the rest of the day, I was just capturing beasts. And this went into the next day. This was obviously for the challenge, and I had quite a few to collect. So yeah, there was really not much going on. And I was also feeding my beast, trying to get the materials so I can get some upgrades, because that's also part of the challenge. And I got some good upgrades, getting myself to level 38. And I also sold some of my beasts for the first time, which gives you a little bit of money, not a whole lot, but a lot of times it's just because inventory space is limited, so you kind of got to get rid of them. And I also finished up the beast collecting challenge, as well as the breeding challenge. And yes, also the one where you got to upgrade the gear. So that was everything for the rumor requirement. All that was really left was side quests. So from the rest of day 86 all the way to day 99, it was all side quests. So I just want to skip over it because it's just getting repetitive. And I know this is not really interesting at all. But I finished off the last side quest with Natty. And just like that, that got me to level 40 just on day 99. Like, it was so close. And the last thing I did for day 100 is just assess my gear and see what I could get. But the game was pretty much over, so I was just kind of standing there around and also fighting off some camps while I was at it. At level 40, it's so easy. I mean, you're so overpowered compared to all the other enemies. So I was just doing that, collecting any collections I could get, any chests or gear, stuff like that. And just like that, finishing with 100 hours on this game. That was 100 days in Hogwarts Legacy. Once again, huge shout out to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. And make sure you guys go play War Thunder using my link in the description or pinned comment for free today on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. And don't forget the massive pack bonus that you get for new and returning players after a break of 6 months. Players get premium vehicles, 100,000 Silver Lions, 7 days of premium, and more. So don't wait on this limited time offer. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.